Okay, and we're back. So my last video, they don't like me listening to music while I play video games, so even though I'm not monetized or looking for any money, I got a strike on my account that I've never monetized anything on. I'm not really sure why. They gave me a warning first, said that this does not affect your account, and then they gave me a strike. But anyways, I didn't come here to talk or about that or play Magic. Um, I needed to talk to you guys or anybody who would listen. Let's see, can you see me? I have a really rough life, and I don't know if you can hear me very well, but I got a microphone right here, so hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear. Unlike some of my other videos, like 3 days before Trump got elected the first time, they took down my YouTube account and my Twitter account simultaneously. I did get my Twitter account back somehow, but I lost 4,000 videos and a lot of evidence I had of what was happening to me. It's pretty rough up here in Alaska, and my mom got angry at me for wanting to use the truck. There was nothing to eat. I needed to go get some food for me and my cat. She ended up calling the police, and the police ended up arresting me and taking me all the way to Anchorage and leaving me on the streets. So me, being a victim of a horrific childhood abuse and rape by doctors, brutalizing me and experimenting on me, cutting out a piece of my intestine as a baby to use it for experimental transplant in Roseburg, Oregon in 1980. This is the kind of childhood I had. No one believed me. No one would listen. Mandatory reporters, when I claimed to have been raped, they would not mandatory report, so I cannot go back today and be like, look, I told you guys what happened. The doctors, military doctors, raped me as a baby to death. They ran a military train on me of military officers in full fatigues. They had long rifles. Guys were lining the walls as Senator Byrd from West Virginia, walked down the corridor, and he raped me badly, horrifically, like you can't imagine. Like tied to a medical chair, brutalized, choked to death. Nobody would listen to me. I finally got to a police officer, a teacher. I would tell them all. No one would even write it down. Maybe because I'm a boy. Anyways, I find myself on the streets of Anchorage at an inopportune in my life. I've been doing pretty good. Got myself a college degree. You know. I got out of Seattle where I was getting literally stabbed in the back with needles by my girlfriend in my sleep. And I'm seriously wounded. And whenever I try to get help from the doctors, they just say I'm doing it to myself. She stabbed me in the face, in the groin, in my side of my head. And I couldn't leave Seattle because she attacked me and they charged me charged me with assaulting her. She had been poisoning me and stabbing me, and then they threw me in the hole with no antibiotics. I was coughing up black stuff within 3 days, begging for my life. You hear me? Begging for my life. And they let me out. I went to the hospital. I got 2 different types of antibiotics. And I tried to get some fresh air because I got lung issues. So I left Anchorage to go to Seattle because while I was on the street, some people started attacking me. And of course, no one would arrest them for assaulting me, even though I got arrested when people assaulted me. There's court cases. You can look them up. I got like $1,000 a few times for getting slammed on the streets of Anchorage down by the shelter. And I couldn't take it anymore. I left. I went to Seattle, try to find some help, where I found this girl who was getting trains run on her. Well, everybody in the city, you all know who she is. And she stabbed me a bunch of times, wiped some stuff on me. They did the same thing to me at the hospital up here. Some girls discharged me because I was trying to get some help. And finally decided to give me a bad IV of some kind of antibiotic never heard of. My arm still doesn't feel the same. See this? See how I'm holding this arm? You see the wounds on my face? That's not acne. Anyways, I'm on the streets of Anchorage because I finally got out of Seattle with my life after they stripped me of everything over and over again and beat the snot out of me, stabbed me with needles, dirty needles all over. I got stabbing needle pains all over my body for the rest of my life because of this girl who they tried to charge me with assaulting. As I was trying to hold my property, she was trying to grab my property and run away. And she started attacking me because I wouldn't let go of my property. And some girl officer pulled up like it was a setup. Downtown Seattle. It takes them an hour to show up. Half hour at least. She pulled me out of the alleyway, this girl who was attacking me. And we're on the sidewalk and she's just attacking me, and I'm just trying to not let her get away with my stuff. You know, it's like she's trying to grab money in my wallet and try to run away with it. I'm holding on to it. And they said, this girl cop pulls up, and it was all like a setup. It was crazy because they never show up that fast. And then she just put me in handcuffs and went across, got these 3 statements that when I got to reading them, didn't make any sense. And there were 3 different statements, like 3 different things occurred. They were not the same thing. And none of them were right. So I just told you what happened. Anyways, I did get up and go down to California before I came back to Alaska. And I came back to Alaska, found this girl. Oh, they had murdered Michelle Felber. Michelle Felber, okay, in Anchorage in 2012. Last time I saw her was down there by the fireworks on the 4th of July. There's a news report. You can see it on the news where they murdered Michelle Felber and the police did nothing. Because the police are nothing. Why would you fund something that is nothing? You must be stupid. if you want to fund the police when you could fund science or education, fund your children, fund your mother. But no, you want to give money to the doctors, the rapists, the pedophiles. This is where your money is going to. Look how much money P. Diddy had. There's something seriously wrong if you're listening. So, I'm on the streets of Anchorage. Oh, and the people who were stalking me and murdered Michelle Felber, they show up again, start harassing me and attacking me again. Now I'm getting beat up. Calling my dad down 300 miles away in a city. Hey, come get me. See, at the time I came back, I found an old girlfriend. They were going to kill her. So I had to get her down with me to Homer. 300 miles away. Get them away from these people. But they found out where I was going. A month after I left and came down where my dad had bought me this house. See this house? That's important for later. If you're still listening. If anybody cares. So, I get down to Homer. I get away from these people. Dad says everything. I'm screaming at my dad the whole way down because he left Miss Shannon Gagnon in Anchorage. And I was in love with her and I was going to take her down with me, help me with the housework and stuff, you know. Get us off the streets. But he wouldn't let her in the car. She was banging on the door, back door. The car drives. We drove away. That was the last time I saw her. A month later, I called up there going, oh my God, I got to get up there and bring her back down here. My dad just bought me a house. And the day I called up there, the guy on the other end of the phone didn't sound too great. And he told me exactly what was occurring. She had been hit by a car. And I'll tell you what, I found out later when I came up there and interrogated somebody who was probably responsible for the murder of Shannon Gagnon. Although nobody's done any investigation because this was just a car accident. They took her to the hospital, you know, and she didn't make it. I never got to see her again. I was trying to get out of the car to get back to her. I wasn't going to leave. He locked me in. He drove down. I was screaming, let me go. They're going to kill her. They're going to kill me. And they're going to kill you. That's what they said. That's what they were menacing me with all the time while they were attacking me. They would follow me around and try to find a good spot to, you know, attack me or get me to buy them things or whatever they could do. If I didn't buy them things, they would attack me. Just like a schoolyard bully. And I couldn't get these guys off. The police just didn't show up. I'm like, I had to leave the guy in an alleyway after he got drunk and I attacked me, and I had to beat him up and leave him in an alleyway right there behind the Web, next to what, Cars Safeway, whatever it is, on Ingra, right down there by the shelter, the closest food store, grocery store to the shelter, downtown Anchorage. Are you following me? Does any of this not make any sense? Please leave some comments. Call me. You can find me on Facebook with my phone number and everything. Just let me tell you what happened next. That was all just set up for the real part of the story, the last few years of my life. Are you ready? The people from Anchorage followed me down to Homer. They befriend my family. They're squatting in my house with this guy named Garrett, whose family runs the Spit with Spots. It's a diversified, internet service, and where they use different nodes to spread out the internet. And this guy, he had some issues, you might say. He liked to play with knives. He was violent. He was mentally retarded in a way. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. He just wasn't all there. The doctors, psychologists had got to him, convinced him he had ADHD and attention deficit disorder and, everything in the book. He had everything in the book, he thought. Because he was so special. He let these people in. They were giving him drugs and stuff. Some like mentally disabled guy my dad had let stay here because my dad's such a nice guy. Well, they were menacing me. They said they're going to kill my dad. They're living in my house. I don't feel comfortable. I got the doors locked. Can't even leave my room. I don't want to come across these people. There's a guy living here named Steve. Works down at the dump, the Homer dump. And he was living here. And I told my dad to get rid of him, but he wouldn't. For some reason, he left. He said it was because one of the girls that was renting one of these rooms. I'm not really sure what he meant by that. But he somehow got uncomfortable and left. But he does odd jobs for the guy across the street, and he's in on it too. So, I'm telling everybody, they're like all the cops on me for noise complaints because I'm watching a movie with my girlfriend in the living room, and they're all jealous. 7 days in a row. I don't know why the cops wouldn't listen to me. They'd lean into me, and I'm like, dude, I'm quietly watching a movie in the living room. They're all the way on the other side of the house. There's no problems here. The problem is they're trying to sick the cops on me. They're trying to convince people that I'm going to murder my father. They're trying to set me up for murdering my father because they needed a fall guy because they were going to murder my father. I explained this to them, but they didn't believe me. It seems real strange that they wouldn't write it down. They wouldn't make a report. I finally got a report made. It took me like 3 months. And the report was, there's drug dealers in my house. Please get them out. Because they were selling drugs out of my house. This guy named Chris Godfrey. Chris and Amanda is his girlfriend. Some mentally disabled girl. He's drugged up and been prostituting out of... Like, literally got to watch the guy come to the house, and I was pissed off, so they would take her somewhere else. This guy would just come pick her up and then drop her off like an hour later. What do you think's happening? I got pictures of it I posted on my YouTube. All their license plate numbers. I was calling the police. Like, after the fact, I'm like, why do you guys think I was always down there trying to make reports, like literally narking myself out, making every drug dealer who ever existed want to come murder me because I'm talking to the police, down here trying to save my life, save my family's life. I got attacked. One of the guys, his last name is the guy that was like fighting me in Anchorage. I'm pretty sure he got a ride down here with Chris and Amanda. But he was literally camped out in the woods behind Safeway. And I'd see him there sleeping sometimes. I'd walk down there and get soda pop. So I got nothing. walk down there and grab a soda pop and come home. That was my life. And try to dodge the murderers and psychopaths that my dad was moving in. He made a business, LLC, Siebold, consulting, and he was renting out the house so that I could have a place to live, so we had enough money to keep the lights on. My idea. So, I literally go live on the beach. I'm like homeless in Homer until it got too cold. I was camped out with my girlfriend on the beach. The cops had to kick us off one beach. I'm like, you know why we're down here? Because they're going to kill my dad. My dad had got some flooring. He was working on the house. He had done some flooring, and I was walking home from the beach to come take a shower. Maybe sleep with the door locked with no one knows I was there, and then run back to the beach. My uncles had come into town. They were going fishing with my dad. But before that happened, he had to do the floors. And that's what got him killed. So, my perspective, I'm coming home. I take a different route home. I go up another street and come down on the house. Because the first street I usually take is next to the woods, where this guy who attacked me and got put in jail for it, he strangled me and they let him go. They tried to murder me. He followed me. He's been stalking me. And they just let him go. Didn't even charge him with anything but simple assault. His last name's Grant. And Chris Godfrey decided to, the guy that was squatting in my house and then not paying rent and completely destroying my home and then blaming it all on me. Saying that I was on drugs while he was selling fucking meth out of my house. He's all telling my parents that I'm on meth, destroying my family life, making sure I don't have any friends. Micah actually took my girlfriend. She won't even admit it to this day. Something wrong with these people. Kick them all out of my life. I got nobody. Nobody. I got a stab wound in the side of my head right here. It hurts real bad. I got to keep disinfectant on it. If they lock me up again and stop me from healing these wounds, I'm going to be in excruciating pain. It's not fun. I can take care of it. Just barely keep myself out of pain and get some healing on these wounds that will not heal. They keep flaring up out of nowhere. You think you got them healed? Nope. But they get smaller if you know how to treat them. But you got to have special stuff that they will not give you in jail or wherever you're at. I got to have my freedom or I'm a dead man, and they're trying to take that away from me. That's why I'm here. I'm getting kicked out of my house again, over and over again. I put charges in against my mom where the house is named in, and I'm trying to get the house that my dad left me and the money my dad left me and the truck my dad left me, everything else my dad left me. But they say I don't deserve anything. I got it on text. I'm going to read it for you. My dad left me a lot of stuff, and they're not letting me have any of it. They're going to take it all. They're going to steal it all from me. So I come home, and I find my dad lying on the ground out beside the side of the house. And I'm so scared. I don't know when this attack happened. He's just lying there. What's going on? I went into my room, and I called my mom. And I was on my phone with my mom going, there's something wrong, Dad's knocked out outside. And I wanted to make sure I had someone on the phone there. If I was going to go, endanger myself and leave my locked room. Well, it's obvious to me that someone had just attacked my father, who I see walking up right outside. And I go out there, run out to him. I'm like, what's going on? To tell him what happened. And he's like, no, he's fine. Everything's okay. No problems. He didn't really act the same after that. I'm pretty sure they snuck up behind him and whacked him. That was supposed to be it, but he's a tough son of a bitch. Maybe that's the only reason I'm still here. It runs in our genes. If he wasn't tough, I wasn't tough, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be dead. You wouldn't have any of this information. So, time passes and like it gets too cold and my girl, one of my girls leaves the state. She's got nowhere to live. My dad kicked her out. Left the freaks in the house and kicked out my girlfriend. He was that confused. So I do trash with my dad. We were gonna get it automatically picked up, but we just go and run the trash every Monday, was it? I don't remember. Sometimes we do it on Mondays because I'd be up going to church and stuff. The food bank was open on Monday. But we'd, get together during the week or something and we'd do the trash. It's been so long now. But we would do the trash. Or at least he would come down there. Couldn't really talk to him. He attacked me twice. Literally, like in front of an officer saw it and asked me if I wanted to press charges, and I had to like think about it and be like, no. And then later on, he attacked me again. He was crazy. They drove him mad. But this is a really tough part. I don't know if I can get through all this little part. But when my dad died, we were driving up to the house. We had gone to the store and dumped some trash, and he was supposed to just drop me off and go. He had the trash cans back in the back, but sometimes he just took those. We forgot about them. He would just go home. He gets all geared up with like his bandana and his headlamp and his gloves and his shovel, and he starts shoveling snow. I'm like, Dad, you have a snowblower. Just go home. It's dangerous here. Like, I was worried. This is an opportunity, like, that they have to, like, get my father. I just drove up to the house and explained to him. I was like, Dad, why are you doing this to me? Because he had already been beat over the head. He was goners. And no one even understood. And I tried to explain to him once again, and I was like, I see this happening. And it happened just like I told him to. Like, they're going to pull up if we hang out in front of the house too much. They're going to get a whiff of us, and they're going to get together, and they're going to pull up and attack us and get away. I'm like, what am I going to do, Dad? And when you're gone, what am I going to do? And he's like, well, you got that wrongful death case, right? I was like, no, that's not how this works, Dad. You getting murdered is not me suing the city for wrongful death. I don't know how that works. I was like, okay, assuming I don't do good in court and I lose my wrongful death case when they murder you. I was literally talking about this with my dad because I told him, like, this is what they say is going to happen. This is what I'm worried about. That's why I've been acting like the way I am. No one will listen to me. He's like, did you tell anybody? I was like, I told you, Dad. I told you, Dad. So I was telling him, like, what am I gonna do? You're leaving me with the person who left me at a hospital when I was 2. That's what you're doing to me, Dad. Like I felt I already lost him. And he said, well, there's this retirement fund. And, you know, I would get part of that. I'm like, well, how much is that? Do you think? Could you run me just a quick estimate? He said, a quarter. A quarter what? A quarter million. 250,000, which turned out to be right because his Schwab account had 750,000. And, you know, my mom can get $500,000 and I get $250,000. That's how my dad wanted it. That's what he told me. Told me the boat goes to the brothers. He told me Mom gets the house on the hill. I get this house. Why would it be any other way? As I told him, I'm going to have to sue my mom. I literally told him, I'm going to have to, she's never going to give me anything. And I literally asked him, get this, I asked my dad if it'd be okay. Well, we won't be around to ask. So I'll just ask you now, like, does it bother you if I sue my mom for my inheritance? He said, go for it. I was like, I'm not going to sue my mom if I think my dad didn't want me to, but Dad died. He left his truck out in the street while he was shoveling in the driveway, and I was trying to get him to get out of there. I finally got him to stop shoveling, but he'd hang up in the driveway way too long. I knew there was something wrong. I saw this truck coming down. I was like, there's this truck coming. And they parked in the middle of the street. They parked in the middle of the street, and my dad started jumping in the back of the truck to pull the trash cans out. And he was putting out the trash cans out, and I was just like, okay, I could do something here, but if I could just get these trash cans, we can get Dad out of here. It's going to take like 3 seconds. So 1 trash can, I grab it, run it over there. 2 trash cans, I'm not even thinking. Grab the 3rd trash can, and I hear my dad say something really funny, like, don't let them kill me. That was the last words I heard him say. And when I turned around from coming out, he was lying there in the street, and there was shadows running into the car. There was a guy running across the street up to his house, Mike, right across the street. The guy across the street was in the house. The truck I found out was Steve's, the guy that works at the dumps truck. And he had Chris and Amanda, and I guess a guy, as they told me, I'm not sure, a guy from the deli at Safeway. Another retarded guy. Mentally disabled, for sure. Physically disabled, even. And they were using him against. They just beat him over the head. I think they stabbed Michelle Felber with a needle of methamphetamines and raped her to death. I know they were drugging Shannon. And I know I got stabbed. So I'm thinking they stabbed my dad with a needle of some drugs to stop his heart. And then they beat him over the head and left him lying on the ground. Where I found him, I was so pissed. They were driving away. I decided to chase them. I chased them down the street until I got scared. They stopped. And in hindsight, I noticed that Chris had gotten out and had run back around the back end of the house to sneak back into his room. Well, I ran back to my dad, and my dad was standing up. And I was running to him like, Dad, is there anything going to be, what's going to happen? I had no idea if we were going to survive this. And before I could run back to him up at his low-grade hill, he had fallen on the ground, and I kind of fell and kneeled on top next to him and tried to give him some convulsions because he wasn't breathing. had to run back in the house to get my phone. When I hear Chris in the back going, "Oh, I got him! I got him!" Screaming like he's playing some video game. But it's a little different. He's really excited. He got him for sure this time. And I ran back out to my dad and I'm like, as soon as I call these people, they're going to come and they're going to kill him. I got it all on video. You can go look at my video on Facebook and, you know, try to give money to my, what is it, crowdfunding thing I got going, the Justice for Kerry. Because now, you know, I'd waited a year, nothing, and mom wouldn't even give me the truck. My dad told me, like, I would have the truck. He wanted me to have his truck. Mom got the car. He told me that. He told me everything that day. The day he died. So, I get almost strangled in the woods, and then they murder my father right in front of me. And they get away with it. The police come. They don't even do an investigation. They leave my dad's fucking glasses stomped. They just kind of threw him to the side. No looking for evidence of any splinters of wood or anything. Doctors at the hospital said he died of. My mom said he died of smoking cigarettes. Some kind of aneurysm. That's what the doctor said. So there was no foul play. They immediately cremated the body. My mom's wishes. My mom was probably feeding him some bad food. He wasn't thinking right. He had gotten the Johnson & Johnson double shot thing. Then he got beat over the head and was lying there. He knew there was something wrong. They told me he thought he was having like strokes or something. Well, he probably was because they beat him over the head with a billy club. See? They literally left the weapons in the back of my house. I have all the clubs that they used to beat my dad because when my dad said his last words, I heard a ding, and I literally said to myself, because I make these little memes, like crow, what was it? Blackbird? Corn crow. There was some mnemonic I used to remember bird's name when I was 2. Cornbird. Cornbird. As the doctors told me it was spelt differently. I didn't know what that mean. I didn't know how to spell words. I knew like 5 words when I was 2. Who, what, where, when, why. And by the time they got done with me, I didn't even know those words anymore. And I heard this ting. I thought it was an aluminum baseball bat. But no, there's this iron bar that we use to close the window off, and it makes this exact same sound. It's almost like a aluminum baseball bat, but it's a small square tube, and it just rings differently. I play baseball, so I know what a aluminum baseball bat sounds like. I heard that. I heard the baseball bat while I was taking the thing, and what else could it have been? I witnessed my dad getting beat over the head by Chris Godfrey and his associates. No one believes me. I went up in front of City Hall and told them. The mayor said he was going to have an investigation. I haven't heard anything since. I tried going. That was good news. I tried to see if there was any information at the police station, but there was just this lieutenant who showed up there, same lieutenant I had been dealing with the whole time on the beach, at the station, and at my house. I literally, when I got beat up, I went down and I left a message at City Hall, said I needed to talk to somebody. These police are covering up an assault against me. They tried to murder me, and they just wanted to charge him with theft and assault. I'm like, dude, he tried to strangle me in the woods. There was no theft. They faked a what do you call that? A reason for doing it, a motive. They faked a motive for the guy who was trying to murder me so that they could just get him off with assault and theft. And he only spent like a year in some kind of mental facility over here, and then they let him go. And now he's back on the streets of Anchorage. He should have never been down here in Homer. He followed me to Homer. He's stalking me. They didn't charge him with stalking. And if they would have done that, then they would have noticed that he was not alone. And then I told them during the trial, while I was being recorded under oath, that there was a threat to my family and I needed some help, and they would not help me. The judge, I told the judge. I told everybody, and then they murdered my father, and everybody says he just fell over while we were doing, the trash. Nobody pulled up in a truck and beat him over the head. Why would you think that? That's stupid. You must be schizophrenic. So now I put charges in to get my money and my house and my car, because my mom's breaking our agreement. Like, I was up there begging for my dad's life up at her house. They wouldn't listen. She said she had everything taken care of. I'm like, well, you're going to share when he's gone, you're going to share the inheritance with me, right? And she said yes. So that was our agreement, and she's not following through with it. And I'm just trying to get the stuff my dad left for me that's just sitting there being neglected. Now she's kicking me out of the house. She calls me today, says I'm getting kicked out. Ha ha ha, laughing at me. I got it all in text. I started posting it, some of it. I try to record this stuff, but like, I've been being attacked for years. You have to go back years to find anything where I'm just talking about the drug dealers in my house. Because they wouldn't listen to me, that they were going to, they've been stalking me. They followed me from Anchorage. They wouldn't take any of that information. So I'm like, they're in my house selling drugs. Can you make a report over that? Because they wouldn't. I'm like, what else do you want? I want you to write down that they threatened to kill my dad. We're not going to do that. They literally said that at the police station. You can't make this stuff up, but you can go look at the report and see that there's drug dealers in my house, and understand that drug dealers are dangerous. They're not paying my dad rent. They never intended to pay my dad rent. They're here under false pretenses because they're here to stalk me and kill me, and that's the only reason they're here. And so, then they murder my dad because that's what they said they were going to do. And then nobody believes me. I'm just making shit up. And so I'm getting kicked out of my house. My mom's like pestering me, texting me, ha ha ha. She says, you're not leaving. What is that supposed to mean? Is she going to get me killed now too? Because I've spent a lot of time in the streets and I almost got murdered multiple times because my mom wouldn't let me borrow the truck to go to the grocery store. They wouldn't get me any food. I had money. I just need to get some food. I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. And they kicked me out on the streets. And by the time I got back, I was being followed by fucking maniac psychopaths that weren't being done nothing with. They just let them back on the streets. The cops don't do shit. The cops are worthless. If I hear anybody wanting to fund the cops, you're fired. That goes for Salty Cracker. That goes for Trump. Anybody who thinks funding the police is a good idea needs to get a swift kick in the butt by some pedophile doctors that never go look. They never get caught. You're telling me in the history of the last 50 years, no doctor has ever raped a child in a hospital? Well, I'll tell you what, no doctor has ever been accused or convicted, because there's no way those cops are going to go raid that house. They're not going to go raid a hospital and look for rape chairs or locked up children, which makes it a perfectly safe place for them to do that. You wouldn't believe the medical experiments going on in some of the hospitals. I would love to expose, but no one listens. You're just letting them destroy you. You're letting the doctors take over your government. The government coup is these doctors, these elitists, and these, insurance companies? It's all medical insurance now. Taking over your government so you have no control over it anymore. Where's your democracy? The doctors stole it from you with a fake COVID. I can't even go on about this crazy shit because I'm trying to explain that I'm going to be on the streets. I'm getting threatened to get kicked out of my house. They're probably going to send the police to try to arrest me again. I want to get out of this state. The people who murdered my father are still in this city. They haven't left. The one guy who keeps attacking me that got busted is in Anchorage. The only place besides here I could go. So it's like, I have to go back down to the lower 48. It's not pretty. This is pretty. I have a nice house. You see I spent a lot of time working on this plant here. I wish I could show you. You can go look and find out for yourself. I'm messing up my cords. This is going on too long. I'm just wearing myself out, guys. But I thought I'd try to document this because I haven't done a very good job since. I feel pretty bad. I wish I could have documented this. Maybe if I would have documented this better, then, Chris wouldn't have gotten away with murdering my father or assaulting my family. This guy Grant wouldn't have got away with trying to murder me and stalking me. For 10 years, since 2012, when they probably murdered Michelle. And that they were trying to pin murder. They were raping girls to death, and then they needed a fall guy. And that's what they were trying to use me for. But I left the state, And then this gang, NBD, they called themselves, No Bad Days. Those gold chain guys in Seattle, they all ganged me because I had their girl. I got your girl, guys. What are you going to do to me? Oh, all this and some of this, and you can't even see it, thank God. I cleared up a lot of it, but my face is deformed. There's divots in my holes. And they literally, when they wiped this thing, like, I know what's going on, guys. When you start wiping this clear liquid on me, I'm not stupid. They just wipe this clear liquid on you, and like 24 hours, you're burning to death, and then it eats away your skin. 5 years later, you still got fucking these crazy growths, like, eating you alive, like some kind of fungus is growing off your blood. And no one's talking about it? I must be crazy. Where's InfoWars? Where is everybody? I can barely get a message out. This is all I got. I gotta try to post this link to this video on Twitter and post this link to my Facebook, and it's on YouTube, and that's it. That's all I got. They took my father from me. He was the only thing I had. The only thing I had. Now they're going to take everything else. I've held out this long. They murdered my dad like a year ago. And I've been trying to hold out while these people got me surrounded. I'm not looking for trouble. I can lose a court case. You can go to court. We can work things out, but they refuse. And now they're taunting me. I'm getting abused. Am I old enough to call it elder abuse at this point? Because, I may not live to be an elder with all the abuse that I've taken. It's obscene. These people need to leave me alone. They keep attacking me. They keep sending people at me to attack me. I have to avoid everyone because I don't know. You don't know. Is this another one of their plants? Is this another crazy psychopath that's going to turn on you and stab you in the back? You never know. My dad definitely didn't figure it out till it was too late.